How can I be as efficient as possible in what I'm doing right now? My name is Adam. This is Questions for Change. Let's go. This is a super common question that comes up in, I'm sure, everyone's lives at some point when they're trying to improve their skills or their performance at work or at school or in their personal life. I think it's a really awesome question, but I think it's I think people jump to it too quick. What I want to do in this video is talk about the difference between efficiency and effectiveness and what you should really be thinking about first. I think both are super important. I don't think you should push any one, like either one of them to the side. But I think people, as I said before, I think people jump to efficiency a little bit too quick and they forget about effectiveness, or they just don't fully understand what it is. It'll make a lot more sense, in a little bit. So what is efficiency? Efficiency is how well you can do a particular task, right? How fast can you do it? How well can you get it done while still retaining, the quality, right? Time and quality. How fast can you do it? Can you still retain quality? Effectiveness is a little bit different. Effectiveness, I think, is a little bit more useful in the beginning, because effectiveness essentially means it's asking yourself, is that task that I'm doing even important to begin with? You might be able to do a task really, really well, but if that task isn't even useful to begin with, like it doesn't even have to be done to begin with, then you're still wasting your time. It doesn't matter how efficient you are, you still shouldn't be doing that task. So let's talk about making decisions on tasks that are at hand. Let's say you have 3 tasks right in front of you. What do we tend to do first? I think we all tend to, prioritize them, figure out which one's important to us, right now, like the most important. You give it a little hierarchy, and then you do them. You try to figure out the fastest way to do them possible while still retaining the quality. So, like I said, though, you prioritize them in order of importance, but I think we tend to not ask ourselves whether the tasks are important to begin with. So instead of jumping to immediately prioritize them, ask yourself for each one, like, is this important? Do I actually need to do this right now? I know it sounds like procrastination, but even if it is something that you have to do, if you can push it off to another time where it might be more convenient, it might be easier to do, without putting as much effort. And then even then, by the time you reach that future date, sometimes that task all of a sudden doesn't become important anymore. You want to find out what's important right now, and that's what effectiveness is. The obvious benefits in doing this, first, before you worry about efficiency and how well you perform the task, is that you just end up saving a lot of time in that question itself. Is this even important to begin with? You end up just cutting that task out entirely. That could be a whole day's worth of work. I run into this issue a lot personally at work when I'm either checking my email or I'm writing some code. I check my email maybe on average like every 5 to 10 minutes. Trying to answer every little call, every little detail, add to my task list as much as I possibly can, so I know everything that I have to do at all times. So instead of thinking, about whether or not it's even important for me to do, every 5 minutes or so, every 5 to 10 minutes to check my email, I should be asking myself, is whatever comes up in my email really going to be that important? Is it going to really be that bad? Like, do I really, if people, we have a paging system at work. If people really, really needed me, they'll call me. They'll call me twice. They'll call me frantically. They won't email me, right? So that's something that you can I can cross off my list. And it's something, I think I spend maybe 2 hours a day in email, just checking email, organizing my task list. If you can even cut that in half, which you probably cut it you'll probably cut a lot more time than that, honestly, just by kind of making that like a check a once or twice a day thing. You'll save so much time doing that. When it comes to checking email, the efficiency part comes in where it's like, all right, what keyboard shortcuts do I know that help me go through my email faster and get it into my task list faster and help me organize my task list faster. But if I just don't do it, I save all that time, and it ends up being pointless that I put it all on my task list to begin with, and then that I went through all that email to begin with. And I think I use writing in code as my other example. And this really goes for any activity or hobby or skill that you're like trying to work on. Instead of trying to, you need to decide whether or not becoming more efficient in that skill is more important, or moving on to a different skill or a different subset of skills that are kind of in that same domain is more worth it. Trying to perfect every little project that you do, and trying to build things, if I'm building a little web app, I want to focus on the functionality. I don't want to focus so much on like how it looks. I can be really efficient in CSS and making it look pretty, and I can do it super, super fast, but is there, if it's for my personal use, for example, is it even worth doing that? Why would I even waste my time doing that? Honestly, this even applies to my YouTube channel. I can pump out videos very efficiently on basketball, but it has nothing to do with my channel. So that's time wasted. It's like, all right, well, if I can make a video in like a half an hour, about basketball and just pump out videos constantly, that doesn't mean that it's going to be useful for me. That's not helping me achieve my goal in the first place. So we went over the difference between efficiency and effectiveness for the most part, basically. I think at the end of the day, I think they're both very useful. I think you obviously need to think about efficiency. You still need to think about how well you can do things. But I think what you should think about first is whether or not what you're doing is important to begin with, whether or not it coincides and fits within your schedule to help achieve your goals. And I think it gets lost. I think people jump to, all right, I want to just be good at this. I want to get good at this one thing, but don't, and it might take them a while for them to realize that thing that they're getting really good at just ends up not being useful for them or not fulfilling for them, for that matter. To wrap up this video, let me know what you think down below, what your personal experiences are, what you think about efficiency versus effectiveness, whether or not, whether you apply it in your life, using effectiveness first before efficiency. Let me know how it goes. Let me know, what your experiences are. And as always, please like the video if you liked it. Please subscribe to my channel for more videos like this one, and I'll see you guys soon.